study in the glory and dream. And some six were off, greatly helped by our weekend's visit home. After the Christmas holidays, all the students gave off, going home on Fridays and settled down to hard work. By this time, it was clear that the matter Constance was down to three: Gilbert Blythe and Shelley and Lois Wilson. Every score shift was more stoppable and was hard and silly throughout the exams. Still, she was nervous on the day the final results came out. Anne and Jane were walking down the streets together, and was pale and quiet in 10 more minutes. She would so who has won the medal, and so the every of course ruin of them, says Jane. When they arrived Queen's, they found the hall full of boys and were carrying Gilbert around on their shoulders and yelling, "Hooray for Blythe!" Madness for the moment stand Father rang on of defeat and disappointment. So she had lost and Gilbert his once, and then somebody called her, "Three cheers for Miss Shelley, winner for the every." Matthew and Marilla came to the walls evening to see the hugger in Fairgreen, and the evening who liberally whispered about the every winner. "So are you happy you have Marilla?" whispered Matthew. Yes, replied Marilla. Miss Barry, who was sitting behind them, leaned forward. "Are you proud of that, Stangar?" "I am," she said. And when home with Matthew and Marilla's evening, she had not been something so afraid. Diana was scaring gave a smear. "Oh, Diana, it's good to see you. You've gone very well, and I suppose you was teaching out as you won the Avery." "No, I'm going to Redmond's College in September." "Did you hear this? Gilbert Blythe will church?" "He has to. His father can't afford to send him to college." Next year, I was surprised. Thought that Gilbert would see going to the months also. What would she do without him to make her work hard? Next morning at breakfast, Sam saw that Matthew was not looking well. Marilla said when he has gone out, "Is Matthew well?" "No, he isn't," said Marilla. "He had the best time with his horse. Maybe he will take a rest now that you're home." "You are looking tired too, Marilla. I'm going to take this one day off, and then it will be your turn to be lazy while I do the work." "It's not the work, it's my head," smiled Marilla. "Well, have you heard anything about the events lately, Anne?" "I heard you were shaky," answered Anne. "Why?" "Well, all we have said is back, and every penny. I'm quite worried about it." And said a good day afterwards. She never forgot that day. It was so bright and golden. She visited all her favorite places. She had a talk with Mrs. Allen, and finally, in the evening, she insisted for the house. "If I had been a boy you sent for," said Anne, "I've been able to help you so much now." "Well, now, I'd rather have you than a dozen boys," Anne said Matthew. "I'm so proud of you, my girl." Smiley shy smiled at her and took the memory of his sweeter when she went to the home last night. And always remembered the peaceful beauty and calm of that night. It was the last night before sadness touched her life, and her life will never be quite the same again. Chapter 14. The Touch of Death. Matthew, what is the matter, Matthew? Are you sick?" And her last voice and threw off the flowers. running across the kitchen to Matthew. She was too late. She had fallen to the floor. His faintest crying, Marilla, and then this Marilla were trying to live 5 films when Mr. and Mrs. Barry alive with Mrs. Lynn. Mrs. Lynn is lame. Simmons, but you wish there and says Sally to look at the others, and the tears came to her eyes. Oh, Marilla, she says, I don't think we can do anything for him. Mrs. Lynn, you don't think Matthew is... And so say the word. Child, you... Yes, look at his face. It is a look that I know. Was when the doctor came, he said that there's was being immediate and probably painless, caused by some sudden shock. The shock was found in the papers, Matthew's house, which told of the full of the Levy Bank. His entire life savings are lost because of the bank's failure. Nurse burst directly drones down, and all day friends and neighbors come to screen Gables for the time. And shy, quiet Matthew's Scofford was a person of importance. He first says that same part. The night sun came and the house felt quiet for a long time and could not cry. Finally, she first sleep also woke up in the middle of the night. She tossed about so as husband that day, and tears came. Marilla hurried her in the other room and went to her. And said Marilla sat together and cried and cried. Nobody else could understand their sadness, even though they were twice. Oh, Marilla, what are you going to do? Cried Anne. We got each other, so old lady cried. I know what I'd do if you weren't here. Oh, you must know that I love you just as much as you did. 2 days afterwards, Matthew's level was bruised. It did not take long for life as Green Gables returned to normal. Even though they all carried the pain of Matthew's stress with them, when was someone that it was clear to Matthew that she couldn't find the same says beautiful enjoying the flowers in the garden. I miss him so much all the time, and yet the flower and life are still to every beautiful and interesting today. Mrs. sends to Mrs. on Sunday. Today, Diana says something funny, and I found myself laughing. I thought when it happens, I could never laugh again. When Matthew was here, he liked to hear you laugh, and he liked to see you happy. He wants you to enjoy these things, says Mrs. Allen gently. Marilla was sitting on the front sofa and Anne's arrived home and sat down beside her. Dr. Spencer says this. I was going and have my eyes examined tomorrow, said Marilla. You won't mind staying with you? There's ignoring and baking to do. I shall be all right. You don't need to worry. That's our first break with medicine and I, my dear. Marilla laughed. Do you know so I was so in charge? Last Sunday, he asked a girl of lights. He looks a lot like his father at the same age. John Bly was a nice boy. We used to be really good friends. He and nice people called him my boyfriend and looked up. What happens? We had an argument. I wouldn't forgive him. He asked me to. I always felt rather sorry. I always wished I'd forgotten him when I had a chance. So you have a bit of romance in your life too, said Anne softly. Yes, I suppose you might call it that. You wouldn't think so. Just look at me, would you? I've forgotten about John myself, but this was came back to me, and I thought it was last Sunday. Chapter 15. The Bend in the Road. Marilla went down the next day and returns in the evening, and the specialist says that if I give up the early reading and sewing, and if I'm careful not to cry, my eyes may not get any worse. But if I don't see, he says I'll be blind in 6 months. I was silent. how things had changed since she left home. She knew that's what she needs to do. Marilla, I have something to tell you. You won't have to stay here alone. Without you, I'm not going to romance. Marilla looked at Anne. No, I'm not going to take the school turf. I'm going to teach. I have applied for the school here, but I think it has been promised to Gables4, but I can't teach that another school. Yeah, without plans house, Marilla, you won't be lonely. We'll be happy there together, you and I. Oh, and I can let you give of your dream for me. I'm not giving up my dream, and laugh. It has just changed a little. Bends in the road. My mind is quite made of Marilla. I'm not going to Vermont, and I'm going to stay here and Ridge. Wonderful course, Marilla. And yes, spread around songs. But Pip also and was foolish unto the ribbons. But Mrs. Allen says Mrs. Lynn's nuts. Well, and I hear they are going to let's teach in the school like in the Volnia, said Mrs. Lynn the next day. Mrs. Lynn, cried surprised. I thought the has promising give us lies. So did they. As soon as Sam saw that you had supplies for it, you went to them and made it, given it to you. He is going to stash his wise friends. It was really kind of full of him, I think. I went to the little Livonia, that was her graveyard though next evening to put fresh flowers on Matthew's grave. When she was walking back, she saw a tall young man whistling. It was Gables, and the whistle died on their lips as he recognized Anne. Anne stopped and held out her hands. Gables, she said, I want to thank you for giving up the school for me. It was very good of you. Oliver took her hand. I was pleased to be able to help you. Are we going to be friends after this? Have you forgive me? And we laughed. I forgave that you that stayed behind the phones, although I didn't know it. I'm sorry ever since. We here want to be good friends, and said severely. I know we can't have each other in many ways. Come on, going to talk you. What's wrong with you, Anne? Asked Marilla later. Gilbert Blythe answered Anne. Why did you have to talk to him about for half an hour? Asked Marilla with a smile. We're half an hour? Well, we have a lot to talk about, Marilla. That night, Anne sat at her window for a long time. She could hear the gentle sound of the wind flowing through the trees, and she was quite happy. She was excited about what the fortune of rings got since 7 rest with the horse, whispered Anne softly.